Welcome back. You're tuned into the Patriot podcast.
The podcast is Sandy Creek, where we talk about what's going on and what people actually care about.
I'm Daniela.
And I'm Aaliyah.
Alright, so today's episode is for anybody who's been stressing about class choices.
Yeah, like should I do AP or no AP? What electives do I take? What is CTE? What if I pick the wrong class? All of it.
Because AP and elective nights happened, and mostly it's one of those events even people skip, then end up asking everybody the next day what they missed.
So we're going to break down what Sandy Creek offers, what happened at the event, and we'll also be sharing interview clips from the table, student browsing, and teachers.
So if you've been confused, keep listening.
Before we get into AP night, quick Creek update because a lot has been going on.
And it's honestly the type of stuff people don't hear about unless somebody tells them.
Yeah, first off, congrats to Miss Bouchon and the academic team. They got third place at the Griffin RESA competition, and that qualified them to advance to state in March.
Which is really huge. The academic team is one of those groups that really puts the school on the map.
Exactly.
Also, congrats to our chess team for finishing second at the MLK state qualifiers.
Chess stays underrated. And music shout out too. Congrats to Sam Brown for being selected as an alternative for the GMEA 1112 All-State Orchestra. Also, he had his Eagle State ceremony on January 10th and is being given the 2026 Star Student Award.
That's a lot of accomplishments in one life. On the sports side, shout out to Jack Jung and Coach Bean and the swim team. Jack dominated and got first in the 500 free and third in the 100 fly at County.
That's crazy. And basketball has a good week too. Boys and girls went 4-0, keeping the teams undefeated in the region.
Also seniors, the senior gala was rescheduled and is going to happen February 1st at 2 p.m. to 3:30. So hopefully you RSVP'd because that's basically your ticket in.
And it's not just the dinner either. They announced stuff like valedictorian, salutatorian, and honoring a bunch of students.
It is one of those you have to be there moments. And another thing that's happened, Creek Night at the Atlanta Hawks was January 29th.
And the sneaker ball is Friday, February 27th from 4 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's for freshmen and sophomores. Tickets were cheaper earlier, but the closer it gets, the higher it goes, and the day of is the most.
Okay, now let's get into the actual episode.
So first, let's talk about AP. People hear AP and immediately think, oh, that's for the smart people only.
But that's not true.
AP is basically college-level classes in high school. It's faster paced, more reading, more writing, more studying, and it can boost your GPA.
And depending on how you do on the AP exam, you can potentially earn college credit too.
But we're also going to say this, AP is not a requirement to be successful.
Exactly. Some people do better with honors, some people do better with CTE. Some people just do better with a mix.
The goal is balance. Don't sign up for 7 APs just to prove something and then be miserable all year.
Then you're not really learning, you're just surviving.
And that's why this AP and electives night mattered, because it showed you what you were choosing before you chose it.
The social studies options are AP Human Geography, which goes over society's influence in shaping the world's population, development, etc. Then we have AP US Government, which goes over how the US government works. AP US History, which is about the history of the US. AP Modern World History, which is more of the globe's history and major events that they've had. And then we have AP Psychology, which is more of a science nowadays, but it went over the behavioral, mental processes, and goes over experiments and why people do the things they do.
And the AP math options we have is AP Pre-Calculus, which prepares you for a higher math like Calculus, AP Calculus AB, which is first level calculus, and then you go into AP Calculus BC, which is more faster and further. And then we have AP Statistics, where you learn how to use data and graphs. Now fine arts, because they're electives, not just filler classes.
Yeah, electives can literally be a reason you like school.
Fine arts include stuff like band, chorus, orchestra, drama, and visual arts.
And people act like that's not important, but those are real skills: performing, creativity, discipline, and teamwork.
And also, some of you guys are genuinely talented and don't realize it because you never tried anything besides what's required.
So if you're choosing electives, don't pick something because your friend picked it. Pick something that matches you.
Now for CTE, which stands for Career and Technical Education.
Basically, classes that connect to real careers, real skills, and stuff you can actually use outside of school.
And the way it usually works is you pick a pathway and you can build experience over time.
So it's not a random class. It can turn into a whole thing on your schedule that matches what you're interested in.
Yeah, at Sandy Creek, some of the CTE areas you'll see are nutrition and food science, marketing, GROTC, graphic design, engineering.
Business, healthcare science, computer science, and film production, and broadcasting pathway. And CTE is for everybody, not just people who already know what they want to do.
Because half of the time, CTE is how you figure out what you want to do.
Like if you're interested in business or marketing, those classes help you learn how brands work and how to actually sell and promote things.
If you're into healthcare, that pathway is going to show you what the field is like before you even graduate.
Engineering and computer science are great if you like building, problem solving, tech, coding, all of that stuff.
In film production, if you're into content creation, editing, behind the scenes, and even podcasts, that's literally your lane.
The point is, don't treat CTE like easy electives.
They're hands on and you'll actually be doing stuff, not just sitting there.
You can talk to Mr. White, the CTE administrator, for more information. Okay, let's talk about the actual event.
Sandy Creek had AP and electives night on January 27th.
It was basically an information night to help students and families plan for next year.
They had an overview of AP courses plus a bunch of electives and CTE tables set up so you can actually walk around and ask questions.
And honestly, that's what made it helpful. You could talk to the teachers and people in the program.
Yeah, and they also had opportunities to connect with staff, and they included a quick state of the school update from leadership too.
If you went, you probably left with way more clarity than what you came in with.
Now we're going to move into the interview part.
We also wanted to hear from students who are already taking AP classes.
Yeah, because reading about AP classes and actually being in one are two very different things.
Alright, so what's the hardest part of the class and what's the best part?
AP pre-calculus. The hardest part of the class is definitely preparing for important tests and exams. And the easiest part is just conversing with my friends in the class.
Who would you recommend this class for and who you think should not take it?
I'd recommend this class to people that want to do calculus in the future and like really enjoy math. And I wouldn't recommend to people that don't like math.
What's one tip to survive and do well?
One tip to survive and do well is to definitely stay on top of deadlines and make sure you study for all your finals and tests and quizzes. And don't slack, even though some people say it's a really easy class.
Now we had to ask teachers too, because teachers know what students usually struggle with.
Especially for AP.
What do students think AP is like versus what it's actually like?
I teach AP US history. So students tend to think that AP US is endless homework, a lot of reading, a lot of writing, but it's really not. It's really more about a manageable workload, teaching you those executive functions, how to organize, focus on the assignments and motivate you to learn is really what it's all about.
And what skills do students need to be successful?
If a student is willing to learn, then that's probably the number one skill they need. But being able to read, to annotate, to take notes, to recognize the main idea is probably some of the basic skills that they need.
What's your best advice for incoming AP students?
Do not quit. Trust the process is probably the number one advice. And to also understand that history is not a list of dates and facts. It's a story about cause and effect and change over time.
We're also here with Ms. Taylor, the teacher of the new AP Computer Science class.
We wanted to know what students could expect from this class.
Students can expect to learn how to code in Python, and in addition to that, they can learn information about internet, how it works, digital information, how it's represented and transmitted, and also about cybersecurity, how to protect their information. The AP exam is 70% multiple choice and 30% task, which means the students will write a program and then answer questions related to their program. The class is fun, it's hands-on, and you don't have to have any coding experience. So everybody's welcome.
We also asked the CTE teachers, since these classes have benefits people don't talk about enough.
Like real-world skills.
What's something students learn in this class that helps them outside of school?
So I'm Mr. Hooks, and I teach engineering. So students in the engineering pathway learn how to solve problems. They also learn how to use hand tools, power tools. We work through how to use software called CAD, computer aided design. We learn how to 3D print, we program robots, and we do a lot of coding.
If a student is nervous to try something new, what would you tell them?
So we try to foster a failure forward approach in the class. So what that means is that we're all afraid to try things new, but we want students to do their best, and when they learn from their mistakes, that's when we grow.
And what's the best part of teaching this class?
The students, absolutely the students. Engineering students are creative, they enjoy challenges, and they bring their own experiences and expertise to the class. In general, engineering students just tend to be the best. Also, I get to have all the fun toys.
Okay, so quick advice to end it off.
Number 1, don't pick classes just because someone told you to.
Pick what matches your goals and schedule.
Number 2, ask people who actually took the class.
Because you can read a course description all day and still not know what it's like.
And number 3, balance your schedule.
Challenge yourself, but don't overload yourself.